If you're a Colorado fan, you woke up this morning, the blood pressure and the heart rate was a little bit high last night, but hey, at the end of the day, man, you don't apologize for winning. You don't apologize for winning if it's an FCS team, if it's an SEC team, just win. It is really the name of the game here if you're Colorado. Final score last night in a pretty exciting game, 31 for Colorado, 26 for North Dakota State. What did we learn from this game? What can we take away from a one data point on the 2024 season for Colorado and how it's going to, potentially impact them in the future? We'll talk about that right now, but first things first, if you're a college football sicko, lock in right here. Make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel because we're talking college football, nothing but college football every single day. So we appreciate y'all being dialed in. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JD Piquel. Let me know what you thought of last night's game in Boulder. Again, this was, we said this all week. We said this during our prediction video. If you're Colorado, this was legitimately the definition of a no-win situation. And I tweeted it out at halftime. I was like, man, if it's me, regardless of how this game ends, there is nothing you could do to make me schedule North Dakota State if I'm a Power 4 football team. There's no way. Because if you're Colorado and you win that game, it's, oh, good, you were supposed to win that game. You were darn near a double-digit point favorite. If you lose that game, it's, man, how did you lose to an FCS team? Are you kidding? What is Deion doing at Colorado? Is Colorado going to be anything this season? Let's just clear this up right now. That's a good football team in North Dakota State. All right? I know they have the FCS sticker. I know a lot of people are going to talk about what they aren't when it comes to the college football landscape and all those things, but it's a team that coming into that game was 9-4 against FBS opponents. Okay, or a program, rather, that was 9-4 against FBS opponents. That's a good football team. Feel like they left no doubt about that with the way they played against Colorado. But if you're Colorado, the takeaways I have the morning after are, okay, the fastball for them a season ago is still the fastball. Like we expected Shedeur Sanders to be that guy this season. A lot of talk around him being the first quarterback drafted at the end of this season. Talk a lot about Travis Hunter and the skill players. That is very much so still a fastball. Shedeur Sanders was unconscious last night, 445 yards, 4 touchdowns. There's an interception in the box score for him. I mean, anybody that saw that play, it was like off my guy's cleat up in the air, like just the flukiest interception of all time. Dude was dialed in. And I think it's more impressive that he was dialed in because there wasn't a whole lot of anything for Colorado on the ground. Your leading rusher had 20 yards. We'll talk more about that a little bit later, but I think that should count for something that everybody in the building, both sidelines, know Colorado is going to throw the football. And they did it at a really high level in a large part because of what Shedeur Sanders did. I was really impressed, too, not just by the stat sheet and the deep throws downfield. I was impressed by two things. The ball placement, when he had to put it to the field, outside shoulder, away from the defender, up on the top shelf, or when he has Travis Hunter, he goes back shoulder to him in the back of the end zone. There was a lot of plays where okay, that is not just an impressive throw in the sense that you got it there. It's impressive based on the spot. And you're going to need more of that from him going forward. But that, to me, I thought was extremely impressive. That plus the poise. Last night was only sacked one time. I don't know that the box score accurately reflects how much pressure he was really under last night. Because there were multiple times, even towards the end of the game, where Colorado's throwing the football. Again, we'll talk about that in a second. And he's having to evade pressure, step up in the pocket, throw off platform, and still was able to deliver good, for the most part, some accurate passes downfield. So that was impressive to me. Jimmy Horn, 7 catches, almost 200 yards. That's a weapon for you. I think he'll have an expanded role this season with the guys that they don't have in the lineup from a season ago. Travis Hunter, I want to settle in on this here. Travis Hunter is a special football player. And a lot of people are going to say that. What we saw last night, 7 catches, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns. The last one being just, ridiculous body control. I don't care who it's against, North Dakota State, Alabama, Georgia. I don't care. Making a play like that and moving your body in that fashion, having the strong hands to bring it in, that was extremely impressive. Regardless of how you feel about Colorado and Deion Sanders and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, let me just say this. We may not see a player like Travis Hunter for a long, long time, if ever again. He is one of those individuals now that we will talk about 20, 30 years from now and say, man, what Travis Hunter did on a college football field was nothing short of rare, nothing short of spectacular. And if it sounds like I'm being hyperbolic here, I don't feel like I am. We all saw what he did last night. That dude is a special, special player playing both ways. I'll just say this too. I'm not an NFL scout, but the catches he made last night and the ways that Colorado consistently fed him the football in big-time situations, to me, he's an NFL wide receiver. Okay, I'm sure he could play corner if he wants to. Again, I'm not a scout, but that's just the way that it looks to me when I'm watching that broadcast last night. Now, if you tuned in to Andy Staples' instant reaction last night, another reason to subscribe. Andy Staples, throughout the course of college football season, big game ends. My guy's already on the mic talking about what he saw, interacting with y'all, real good time. But he picked up on something that I think we need to unpack together. North Dakota State last night was just, quite honestly, forced to play zone coverage consistently. Why? Because they did not have the personnel to man up with a Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, so on and so forth. And so the question I have, and this is sort of the same question Andy Staples posed last night on his stream, was, well, okay, North Dakota State, they don't have that personnel in the secondary. Does Nebraska have that personnel in the secondary? Does UCF have that personnel in the secondary? Because as much as they need to throw the football, you also, if you're the opposing defense, need to make sure that you are giving those weapons that they have the proper amount of attention. Like, you need to, quite honestly, be able to give the proper attention to that pass game that they have. So the point I'm trying to make here is, how consistently will we see Colorado have the massive advantage when it comes to their skill players in the perimeter? Based on what we've seen so far, I think there is a very clear case to be made for Colorado being a Tier 1 wide receiving core in America. I didn't say the number one rank because there's a lot of good receiving cores, but like, you put them in that top tier based on all the ability they have. So the point I'm trying to make here is, North Dakota State last night didn't have the dudes. Does anybody else have the dudes? I'm not saying I know for a fact. I'm saying I think guys will have better secondaries to match up with Colorado, but do they have enough to just truly slow them down? Because going back to things that concern me here, based on last night's game, a couple of things to unpack. The offensive line, again, still having some issues, whether it be pass protection, and they revamped that offensive line. Do not hear me incorrectly, but still having issues protecting Shedeur Sanders. I know he was only sacked one time. He was taking a beating to a degree. Like, there was a few times you kind of grimace when he took let the ball go, gets hit, and you're like, man, I don't know if I want my quarterback taking those kind of hits. So that's one thing. The other thing is, we got 2 minutes left to go in the football game, and Colorado is unable to just hand the ball off and put the game on ice. And Deion Sanders, after the game, made the valid point that, okay, well, if they're giving us the look to where they're going to try and take away the run, we're going to throw it. And I understand that. And he talked about them having the desire to have more balance in the future and how they're going to run the football. And I understand that. And I don't disagree with the fact that, he was like, hey, we got to get first downs to win the game. I was like, yeah, that's a fair point. I love it. However, if you can't put the game on ice against North Dakota State running the football with 2 minutes left to go, it's not getting any easier. Like, you're not going to play another defensive front that's of a lesser caliber than North Dakota State. I'm not telling you North Dakota State isn't still really good up front, but I'm just saying, like, when you play those Power 4 conference teams, when you play those teams in the Big 12, like, it's not going to be a smaller ask of your offensive line. And so the question is sort of the same question we had last season for Colorado. Hey, the perimeter players, really good. Shedeur Sanders, really good. Do you have another pitch in the arsenal? Because if you're running a race and all you can do is sprint, and if you're not sprinting, you're standing still, like, you're going to run out of gas at some point in time. And last night we almost saw that hurt Colorado to some degree. Like, they're throwing the football downfield when it's like, hey, let's just run the football. And if we can get 3 yards here, 3 yards of carry, like, this changes the entire complexion of the game. It's not me being down on Colorado. I'm just saying that's still very much so a real question mark I think you have if you're a Colorado fan this morning. You have to find some way to be able to, at best, have something to honor in the run game, and at worst, be able to put the game on ice when you're up with 2 minutes to go. That, I think, is a little bit concerning. Now, defensively, I thought they did a much better job getting to the football. I mean, 7 tackles for a loss, not something to just look over. Also, consistently throughout the game, you just felt them getting more pressure on North Dakota State. Couple of missed alignments, couple of missed assignments. You're like, man, I'd love to see that get fixed. However, it is week 1, so you don't, look too deeply into that. The run game looks like it still could be an issue for them defensively. I mean, North Dakota State averaged like almost 4 yards a carry, 3.7 to be exact. So that's something you got to clean up. You're impressed by the response, though, if you're a Colorado fan. Because there was a point there in that first half where I think North Dakota State's up 3 points. Colorado goes for it on 4th and 1. They don't get it. So you're already like, gosh dang, can we not get a physical push up front? We got to run the football. And then you flip it over and you're like, all right, well, if you're North Dakota State here, are you going to be able to, kind of take the air out of this thing right now and sort of put the pedal to the metal here? And if you're Colorado now, that's a tough sequence of events. Are you going to, maybe have a situation where you got a lot of portal guys, everyone's questioning, how together is Colorado with all those portal guys? What's the culture like? It's always a question whenever you go so portal heavy, whether you're Colorado or somewhere else. And to see them respond, figure it out, no panic, play great in the second half, finish the first half strong, I think that was an encouraging sign. I'm not telling you that game 1 is the end-all be-all, but I think if you're a Colorado fan, seeing the response mechanism from your football team when there was an opportunity, quite frankly, again, to panic, to sort of fall apart, and they didn't, I think that's a positive sign. So I'll tell you what, man, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for next week. You got Colorado going to Nebraska, and we're going to figure out a lot about Colorado in the trenches. I think we're going to learn a lot about learn a lot's a strong word. We're going to learn a lot more, I would say, about what they have on the perimeter when they play a more talented secondary. It's going to be a good one, man. So I cannot wait for that. But again, Colorado getting it done. You never apologize for winning a football game. I don't care who's on the other sideline. You do not apologize for winning a football game. You definitely don't apologize for throwing for over 400 and finding a way to get it done. So with that being said, again, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following me on the socials at JD Piquel. Let me know how you feel about last night's game. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. We're going to keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.